Thank you for joining me for this creative flow tonight. We're just going to take it easy and let our bodies kind of open up with some creative movement, trying to maybe break some patterns of thought about how a yoga class should be, and just let our bodies dictate a little bit of what needs to happen. So we'll concentrate on hip openers for sure. And you may want to have a block handy. I've placed one on either end of my mat just in case. And we'll start standing for this class. So come to the middle of your mat and bring your hands into prayer. And let's just begin with our feet separated about hips width distance apart. And once you feel like you're kind of in a good grounded spot, just allow the eyes to close. Let your shoulders relax down and away from the ears. And as you plug into the soles of your feet, feel your heels ground down and all 10 toes. Draw some energy up from the arches and just feel the legs begin to engage. Find a little tilt of the pelvis, the front of the pelvis tilting up, the back of the pelvis tilting down so that your tailbone points to the floor. Elongate your spine from that tailbone all the way up through the crown of the head. And just relax your jaw. Soften there. And allow your mind to begin to quiet. See if you can start to filter out the thoughts and the attachments that color your day. See if you can let go of any expectations or plans, things in the future, things of the past, so that you can really just relish the presence of yourself in this present moment. Maybe this is the first time today that you've had an opportunity to hit the pause button. Just allow your thoughts now and your energy to turn inward and follow your breath. Breathing in and out just naturally through your nose. No need to force the breath here. Rather, just let it breathe as it would without any modification or any change. So that in this way, we begin to connect our mind with our body. We begin to feel the rhythm of our breath. As you inhale, see if you can draw that breath up towards your heart space and let your heart space draw up towards your thumbs. As you exhale, try to exhale completely, emptying the breath all the way out so that you feel that tug of your navel towards your spine. Just do this for a couple of rounds, just connecting with breath. And while you're here, take a moment to thank yourself for showing up. Right? That's always what it takes. Finding your way to the mat, and then from there, the magic just unfolds. Let's take one more beautiful breath in, lifting your heart up towards your thumbs, filling up, feeling the side ribs, the back ribs all expand. And then open the mouth and let that go with a nice long sigh. Let your eyes flutter open. Release the hands down, and let's take a wide step out, super wide here. Turning the toes out and the heels in. We'll get right into the hips by bending the knees here and dropping the tailbone down. Now try to stack your knees over your ankles and pay attention to where they start to fall, because they're going to want to kind of cave in. See if you can keep them open and just take a little easy sway from side to side. Just gently beginning to open up through the hips, the groins, the legs. Maybe allowing the shoulders to start to move organically with the hips, rolling the shoulders back one at a time. Any kind of movement that feels good and intuitive to you here. So breaking the mold right off the bat, starting the class in kind of a different way and letting your body dictate here. Good. Now come to stillness and let's inhale, straighten the legs and bring the arms overhead. Take a deep stretch here. As you plug into your feet, reach all the way up to the sky. And then as you exhale, just rebend and let the arms sway forward. And we'll do this a couple of times. Just beginning again to open up the legs, the hips, the shoulders, nice and easy. Nothing to overthink or to get right, just to feel here. Good. And the next time you come up, let's hold. You're going to bring your right arm underneath your left for eagle arms, Garudassana. If the double wrap doesn't feel good, maybe just grab your shoulder heads. That could feel really nice. And then as you're ready, bend back into those knees, drop the tailbone down, and do your best to bring your shoulders right over your hips. Press your forearms away and notice how this feels in the upper part of your back as your shoulder blades draw apart. Send some breath there. You may even want to close your eyes. Try to drop as low as you can. Good. And then inhale to straighten. Let's sweep the arms overhead. On the exhale, this time left under right. Find the wrap. Again, option to grab your shoulder heads or even press the backs of the hands together if you can't take the double wrap. And then as you're ready, sink back down into those hips, rounding through the heels, pressing the forearms away from you as you bring your elbows up to shoulder height. Relax the top of the shoulders down. Try to lengthen the sides of the neck. Beautiful. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale to straighten and unwind the arms. Bring them overhead. Last time to rebend the knees, let's bring the hands to the thighs, right behind the tops of the knees. This time we're going to press the knees wide as we lean out and forward. So opening up that inner leg line, you may feel this a little bit more intensely. We're going to drop our right shoulder towards the center and turn to look over our left shoulder. Press that right inner thigh away and sink down into your hips just a little bit more. Feel the beauty of the twisting out of all those muscles along your spine and breathe. Rise up through center and switch the left shoulder to the center, looking over the right, pressing into that left inner thigh as you deepen your twists. Take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, unwind and straighten the legs. Good. Heel toe the feet in so they're about outer hips width distance apart with your toes facing forward. Arms up and overhead. This time we're going to interlace them and flip the palms up towards the ceiling. Take a nice long stretch here. Again, plugging into the feet and pressing up through the hands. Feeling this lengthening along your side body. Engaging your legs. Beautiful. Big breath in at the top here. And as you exhale, let's bend the knees, keeping them in line with the ankles, pressing out through the hands, dropping the tailbone back and down. So think of a wide chair pose here. Feel that lengthening of your spine from tailbone to crown. And then drop your chest down, keeping your arms in line with your ears. Try to go as low as you can into the squat. Press the palms away from you, lengthen out. And then on an exhale, release and come into a forward fold. Keeping the knees nice and soft. Shake out your head. Shaking it yes and no. Maybe bending into one knee and then the other as we start to let the back side of the body open up. We'll go ahead now, lift up a little bit so that you can heel toe your feet all the way out to come into a wide-legged forward fold. Prasarita Tanasana. So in this position, our toes are turned in and our heels are drawn out. So a little bit of a pigeon-toed stance. Walk your hands in and let the crown of the head melt towards the ground. And give your spine some time to lengthen and open up. Feel free to grab onto your ankles. Feel free to take a little movement if you want to bend into one knee and then the other, if that helps to kind of unlock some of the tension of the day. Especially if you've been sitting, these muscles have gotten short and tight, and we need to bring some life back into them. So whatever feels good here, follow your body's needs. Good, and after a little bit of movement, come to stillness. Look forward and walk your hands way out so that you're kind of more on your toe tips than your heels. Bring your hands in line with your shoulders. Take a nice breath in. And as you exhale, press your chest down between your arms as if you were taking puppy pose, but in this wide-legged stance. Really nice opener for the shoulders. Grounding through the outer edges of your feet. Pressing the chest down and lengthening out the spine. Nice couple of breaths here, breathing in and out. In and out. Good, lifting the head up now, walk the hands in, take your time, and then pivot towards the top of your mat. You'll go ahead and step your left foot up to meet your right to come into Uttanasana, forward fold here. Feet underneath the hips this time, no wider. Again, option to keep your knees nice and soft if your hamstrings are tight. Option to take a little movement and sway. Really just feeling into your body and asking it what it needs. We're opening up the back side here, and that can take time, particularly if we've been sitting. The hamstrings are going to be tight and short, and the more that we hold and breathe in a pose, the more that we'll be able to lengthen and open up those stuck areas. Do whatever feels right for you here. If you want to take a clasp of your arms behind you or even behind your head to help to open up the neck. Take whatever modifications, variations on this pose that feel good to you. And then when you're ready, on your next breath in, come to a flat back. Bring your fingertips to your shins. Straighten the spine out and draw your shoulders down your back. Again, think about lengthening the space along the sides of your neck. Point the crown of the head forward, look slightly forward. On an exhale, soften the knees and come back into ragdoll. So two very different energies in those two poses. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, very engaged. The belly button pulls in towards the spine. The shoulders draw down the back. The legs are engaged. On the exhale, Uttanasana, we're nice and soft. Relax. Folding forward. One more round. Inhale, nice flat back. Pull the belly in and up. Find that core engagement. And then on the exhale, fold and soften. Keeping your knees nice and soft, your arms alongside of you, very slack. Let's roll the body up. Super slow. Tucking the tailbone under as you go, stacking your bones and taking your time to build yourself back up. Shoulders over hips, hips over heels, crown of the head eventually reaching all the way up. Good. Once you've come to rise, bring the arms overhead and reach for your left wrist with your right hand. Pull up and out of your waistline, and on an exhale, lean out and over to the right. Feel the pressing of the hips to the left. Ground evenly through your feet. So these intercostal muscles around our rib cage get very compacted when we're sitting. So this should feel really good at the end of the day or first thing in the morning when you wake up. Let's rise up, switch sides. Grab your right wrist, pull up on the in-breath, and then out and over on the out-breath. Sending your hips to the right as you lean off to the left. Big stretch. You might even feel this in the front of your hip. Depending, try to keep your chin pointing forward and your throat nice and open. Good. Rise up, take a breath in, separate your hands. On the exhale, a little back bend. Just reach the fingertips back towards the wall behind you, and then press the hips slightly forward. Take a nice breath in, enjoy the sensation. On the exhale, hands to prayer, let's fold all the way forward and down. Good, take a halfway lift. Once again, nice flat back. And then on the exhale, plant your hands and step your left leg back. The right knee will stay bent. Let's take a moment just here in a low lunge, maybe rocking forward and back, waking up our ankles and those joints in the legs. Trying to bring the back leg to as straight as possible, but whatever feels good for you. Driving the heel away, letting the hips melt, and keeping the heart nice and lifted. Good, one more breath. On the exhale, we'll go ahead and spin the back heel down. So we're going to get a little bit deeper into the hips here, walking the hands out at 45 degrees and keeping them in line with the shoulders. Just like we did in that wide-legged forward fold, we're going to press into the hands and send our chest back. Keeping in our deep lunge, you will feel this in the right hip, guaranteed. Try to lengthen the spine and the side body. Dropping the chest between the arms. Keeping your right knee stacked over your right ankle. Nice deep breaths here. It's a lot, so breathe into it. Wrap your right sit bone underneath you and press into the outer edge of your left foot. Good. Let's slowly walk the hands in, and we're going to come onto the ball of the left foot as we extend and straighten the right leg for Skandasana on this side. So getting a nice lengthening stretch in the right leg, coming up onto the ball of the left foot, heel is lifted. Maybe one or both hands come to your heart for balance, but entirely up to you, right? Remember, this is your practice. Do what feels good, maybe even half prayer. And then release the hands down. We'll take a little quarter turn, pivoting to the back of your mat. And you're going to heel toe your left foot off to the side, dropping the back knee down and coming into lizard pose. Again, your left knee and ankle will be stacked. Hopefully you can see that. And for this variation, I'm going to pick up my toes and angle them off at an angle. And I'm going to lean into my right hand and take my left hand to my left inner thigh. So I'm going to press that left inner thigh away as I turn my torso, chest, ribs, and gaze to the left, leaning into that right hand and opening up that left hip gradually and with ease. If this is too much for you, then you're welcome to just come into lizard. Maybe you have a block that you can bring to the practice, lowering down onto your forearms if you would like to go there. Just a different variation. The one I'm taking is a little bit more intense a little bit more focused and targeted on the hip opener. It's also a really nice little twist. As you're wrapping the left shoulder back, see if you can sink into your right front hip just a little bit more. Feel that lengthening from your left hip crease up to the left knee. Breathing into this rotation of the left hip. One more breath. On the exhale, slowly unwind, bringing the hands back, spinning the toes forward if you had angled them out, and then we'll tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Walk your hands forward, press off your back toes, and come on to your left foot with the right leg lifted. L-shaped pose here. So this is a prep for warrior 3. If you have a block handy, you could use it, maybe bringing your hands to stabilize on top of the block. Wrap the top of your right hip down towards the mat. Flex that foot and draw the toes down to the mat as well. Ground into your standing leg. Turn on that outer hip stabilizer, maybe one hand or both. Come to the heart for a warrior 3 if it's in your practice. Good. Release the hands down, release the foot down. Let's find that forward fold. Letting that all go. Notice the difference between left and right sides after that. Let's get our body nice and even. So once again, with soft knees and slack arms, roll yourself up to stand. Take your time. Let this be enjoyable. Make it like a little fun practice where you really feel your body getting taller. Bring the arms overhead, this time palms press. On the exhale, find that back bend. Reaching the fingertips back behind you, pressing the hips forward. Lengthen your tailbone, lengthen the front body. Breathe in. On the exhale, hands to prayer. Let's forward fold, back and down. Take a halfway lift. And this time, as you exhale, step your right leg back and find your low lunge. Again, a little movement if you'd like, maybe forward and back on the toes, oiling up the ankle, the knee, and then bringing yourself to stillness as you press through that right heel and you lift the right thigh. Let the hips get soft and let your heart open up, looking forward, gazing forward, feeling that big stretch in the front of your right hip. Good, one more breath. And then on the exhale, we'll spin that right heel down and walk both hands out at about 45 degrees. Walk them far enough away so that when you press into them, you can drop your chest down between your arms. Keeping that left knee over the left ankle. Press your chest back, tuck your tailbone under, wrap that left sit bone back, and feel that deep opening in your left hip. Use your back leg, ground into it. Let your chest melt a little bit further. Good, one more deep breath in. On the exhale, let's walk the hands in and then come over to the ball of the right foot, right heel lifts, lengthen that left leg, Uttanasana. Good. Again, option to bring one or both hands to the heart as you balance, flexing the left toes back towards you, breathing into this shape and this side with no judgment. Right? We're letting go of expectation, just flowing with the breath in the body. Hands come down, take that little quarter turn, pivot, and then heel toe the right foot to the outer edge of the mat as you draw the left knee down. Lizard on this side with the option to pull the toes up and angle them off the mat. Left hand comes off the mat as well. Right hand to the inside of your left thigh. Let's press into it as we turn the chest. Rolling our right shoulder back, taking our gaze up, and trying to open up, creating some length in that right hip. Breathing into it, just going as deep as it feels comfortable, or just taking a more traditional lizard, maybe using a block if that feels right for you on this side. Again, nothing to prove, nothing to force. We're just working with the body and the breath to open up nice and easy. One more breath in. Beautiful. And then exhale to release. Turn the toes back forward if they were at the angle. Back toes tuck, back knee lifts. Let's walk the fingertips forward, press off the back toes, and float that left leg up. Round into your right leg and try to level out the hips here. Turn the front of the left hip down to face the mat. Flex the left foot and engage that leg nice and strong. Maybe you find a block for support to lift yourself up a little bit higher. Maybe you play with finding warrior 3. Do whatever feels right for you on this side. Take one more breath in, legs engaged. And then on the exhale, let's go ahead and bring the left foot down. Come into your forward fold one more time. Relax and release here. Let everything go. Beautiful. Let's come to rise, press into the feet. This time, arms sweep all the way out. Breathe yourself nice and tall, come up. And on the exhale, let's find a little cactus of the arms this time. Opening up the chest, the shoulders. Good, big breath in as you reach to the sky. And then on the exhale, forward fold. Bring it all down. Halfway lift. And now we'll step back to downward facing dog. So our first down dog, you have full permission to take as much movement as you would like here. So anything that floats your boat, feel free to move in that way. Maybe you want to twist your heels from side to side. You can do any kind of movement, bring the hips into it. Shake your head, yes and no. Good. And then coming to stillness, bend your right knee a lot. Take most of the weight off the right foot and press that left heel actively towards the mat. So getting a big active stretch in your calf and your hamstring on that left side. Rounding evenly through your hands. Finding your thumb and your forefinger. Wrapping your triceps in towards your face. And then switch sides. Let the left knee get soft. Take most of the weight off the left foot and press that right heel down. Stay here and breathe. Active stretch into the right calf, the ankle, the hamstring, maybe even up into the glute. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. Back to downward facing dog. Let's separate the feet about hips width distance. Walk your hands back so that your heels drop to the floor. Ground your left hand and then thread your right arm under to reach for the left outer shin or ankle. Let's take a little twist up and underneath that left arm. Maybe the legs are straight, maybe they're bent, doesn't matter. Find your rotation and actively draw your right elbow towards the right side of the mat. You're pulling on that left ankle. Good, switch sides. Right hand to the mat, left hand threads through. Hang on to whatever you can find and then turn and twist yourself up and underneath that right arm. Breathe. Pull your left elbow towards the left edge of your mat. Bring something out of your body in this pose. Continue to breathe. Good. And then gently release. Walk it all the way out to plank pose. Stacking your shoulders over your wrists. Turn on everything in the body. Get nice and strong here. Press through the heels. Lift the tops of the thighs. Press into the hands. Create some space between your shoulder blades. Keep your neck in line with your spine and keep your belly and core engaged. Take a nice breath in. Build a little strength. On the exhale, let the knees come down to the mat and the elbows as well. Create a tripod shape with your hands by interlacing your fingers. Bring your shoulders overneath your elbows. This is your foundation for your upper body. Tuck your toes under, look back, and then slowly begin to lift the hips up, straightening the legs. You're going to walk your feet in a little bit closer for dolphin pose. Press into your forearms and keep pulling the shoulders away from the ears. They're going to want to sink down, so do your best. Let's lift the right leg if we can, bend the knee and open the hip in this position. Any movement you'd like here, maybe roll out your ankle, roll out your knee, keep your breath nice and steady, and bring that foot down, other side. Lift the left leg, bend and open the knee. Breathe here. Maybe roll the ankle, maybe roll the knee. It's a strong pose, enjoy it. And then bring the left foot down, walk the feet out. Pass quickly through forearm plank as you press into your arms. And then lower the body all the way down, separating your hands shoulder width distance apart. Palms to the mat. Engage energetically by drawing the elbows towards you as you press into the tops of the hips and the tops of the feet for Sphinx Pose. Tailbone draws down as the heart lifts up. Breathe. Beautiful. And release. Come all the way down. Extend your left arm out at an angle. So mine is at a diagonal here. We're going to tent the right hand and bring it off the mat, stacking the elbow over the wrist. As you're ready, press into the fingertips and roll onto your left hip, bringing your right leg and toes back behind you. Now, the bigger focus of this pose is opening up the front of your left shoulder. So if you're not feeling any sensation, you may want to experiment with moving your arm in a different direction or position, maybe a little bit further away from you, but you should be actively feeling this, stretching out those muscles all along the front of your left shoulder, excuse me. Stay here and breathe. Even if we're holding the pose, we're not holding our breath. Keep the breath going. It will help to unstuck anything that is stuck. Oh, and there can be quite a bit stuck in the shoulders, right? I know I'm feeling it. Good, one more breath. On the exhale, we're going to go ahead and roll back onto our tummy. Take just a moment here. Maybe draw the right cheek to the mat as you look to the left. Just pause. Feel your breath. Notice what came out of that. And then we'll go ahead and set up for the other side, extending the right arm out at a diagonal. Tent your left fingertips off the mat, stack the elbow over the wrist. And as you're ready, you're going to look left and roll to the right, stacking that left hip on top of your right. Maybe those left toes drift behind you. And then working the arm into whatever position most manifests the stretch, right? You want to feel a deep stretch in front of that right shoulder. So if it isn't in a good position, play around with moving it a little bit at a diagonal, maybe walking the fingertips further away from you. And breathe. We're not in a rush here. When we're this tight, you know, we need to hang out a little bit. Let the breath do its work. Bring your mind's eye right into the front of that right shoulder and send your breath awareness there. It really works. Good. Take another breath in. Exhale it out nice and slow. Bring yourself back and onto your belly. And then turn your cheek, your left cheek to the mat as you gaze right. Arms can be in whatever position feels good to get a nice release. Breathing in. Breathing out. Good. We'll gaze forward now. Bring your hands along your rib cage. Press back to child's pose. And just let your hips meet your heels. Stretch your arms out in front of you or bring the arms alongside of you. Turn the palms up. This might feel nice to help relax the shoulders after that big stretch. And breathe in. Breathe out, sending the breath to the back body. Nice and easy here. Good. And we'll slowly roll ourselves up onto our shins. And then make your way back into downward facing dog. Curling the toes under, lifting the hips high. Pedal out your feet. Good. Let's go ahead and lift the right leg up. Stretch it way up and back behind you. As you exhale, we'll go ahead and step it up by the right thumb. Spin the left heel down. Reverse cartwheel yourself up into warrior two. And we'll just bend into that front knee. Take a peek and check for your alignment. Heel in line with the arch. Arms straight out from the shoulders. Let's turn the palms down and activate the fingertips. Ground through the outer edge of that back foot. And let that help you drop into the pose a little bit more, keeping your shoulders stacked right over your hips. Good. On your next breath in, let's reverse. Sweep your left hand back behind you just for a little fun. On the exhale, sweep that right arm forward and across the body as the left arm comes overhead. And we'll just kind of windmill between the two, reverse. And then forward as if you were coming into extended side angle, but sweeping the arms. One more time, let's reverse here. And then this time as we exhale, find extended side angle, planting your forearm to your thigh, and then turning the front or the palm down towards the front of your mat. Relax your left inner shoulder. Breathe into this. Beautiful. Feel that lengthening of your left side from your ankle to your fingertips. And then on the next breath in, let's reverse triangle. So straighten the front leg, reach way back. Take your left hand to find your right wrist and let's just pull. Lengthening the right side now. Pressing into your right big toe mound. Pulling that right wrist away from you. Good, and then rising up. Arms to a T, turn the toes, the right toes forward, turn the left toes out, bend into the left knee, and let's take that sequence on this side, warrior two. Grounding through that right edge of the foot, keeping your knee in line with your middle toes here in the front. Finding an evenness in the hips, so try not to tilt too forward, but try to bring the back hip down in line with the front. Nice long vertical spine. Energized fingertips, open heart. Good. Inhale now to reverse, sweeping the right arm back behind you, reach overhead. And then exhale to take the sweeping forward with the left arm crossing the body, right arm overhead. Inhale to take it back, nice and easy. Staying in our warrior two legs. And exhale forward. Good. One more time as we take it back. Inhale. And then exhale, landing an extended side angle. Left forearm to left thigh as that right arm stretches overhead. Palm facing down. Really use your back leg by pressing into it. And then lengthen. Soften your right inner shoulder. Beautiful. Breathe in. On the exhale, reverse triangle. We're going to straighten that front leg and take it all the way back. Find your left wrist with your right hand and pull. Lengthening out that whole left side. Rounding through the feet. Good. One more breath in. And then exhale to release. Good. Now heel toe the feet in. A little bit wider than hips distance. This time toes turn out, heels are turned in. Hands come to the heart. My favorite hip opener. You know what's coming. Malasana. We're going to bend the knees. We've done a lot of prep work for this. Find your inner thighs with your elbows. You may need to adjust where the feet are. Maybe bringing them in a little bit closer. Use those elbows to widen your knees as you drop your tailbone down. If you have a block handy and you would like to use it as a prop, go ahead and sit on a block. It does really assist in the pose. Draw your palms together and lift your heart up towards your thumbs. Breathe into this shape and try to relax. Notice if you're holding your jaw really tight, can you let go of some tension there? Once we open up our jaw, we can help to open up our hips as they do connect to each other. Maybe close the eyes. Find a steady breath. Send good thoughts to your body and to yourself. Remind yourself that you're doing beautiful work. Take one more breath. On the exhale, let your fingertips come to the mat. Come to a forward fold as you heel toe your feet in underneath the hips, and we'll come right into gorilla pose. So for this pose, we're going to slide our palms underneath our feet, palms facing up. Your toes meet your wrist creases. As you breathe in, you're going to look forward and straighten your arms. And as you breathe out, you're going to fold in and draw your elbows out to the side. Drawing the crown of the head down, straightening the legs as much as you can. Big, big stretch here. Breathing in and breathing out. Let your spine get long. Maybe wiggle your toes, get a little massage to the wrist here. One more breath in. And one more breath out. Good. Slowly lift the gaze, sliding the hands out. We're going to turn towards the top of the mat and send the left foot back. Heel toe the right foot over to the left side of the mat and draw the shin and the knee down, coming into pigeon pose. Walk your back knee back if that helps you to get a little more length, and then center your hips and your body. You want to square the chest towards the top of the mat and your pelvis as well. If you need to even out your sit bones, take a block underneath that right one or a blanket. Whatever feels good. Take your time to adjust, whether you'd like to stay upright or come down. We will be here for a few breaths. Really getting into the outer hip. We've been working on that rotation pretty much the entire class, so you may feel it here. do your best to soften your body into what is happening, right? And not create a state of resistance, but a state of acceptance and awareness. Our breath is the vehicle to get into that state of mind. Breathing ease, breathing openness, breathing a sense of unstuckness into our bodies. If you want to turn on your Ujjayi breath here, because that breath helps to keep you connected to your body, this might be a good time to go into that. Although it's so hot everywhere, you may not want to take a warming variation of breath work, but the sound is so beautiful. Breathing in and breathing out. Giving plenty of attention and awareness to this side. Good. Let's begin to transition out of the pose. So take your hands to the mat and lift yourself up. We're going to roll off onto that right side. Oh, Lucy's here. And we're going to bring that left leg around, dropping the left foot to the outside of our right thigh, coming into our seated twist. So level out the sit bones by bringing that left sit bone down. Good. And then left fingertips back behind you, right arm up. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, let's twist. Hug either your shin, if that's option number one, and turn. Option number two is to go ahead and hook that elbow to the outside of your left knee. Use the elbow as a little wedge to help rotate you around a little bit deeper to the left. Keep your chin lifted and parallel to the floor. Maybe your gaze goes back behind you. Really feel this beautiful sensation in the spine as you wring everything out. Take another breath in. And then on the exhale, we'll go ahead and unwind. Let's bring our feet nice and wide here and do a few windshield wipers to just kind of let that side wash away, dropping the knees down, letting the hips get a little movement here. And then we'll find our way into pigeon on the other side. So if you want, just bring the left shin forward, pick up your hips and walk that right leg back behind you. Try to bring that left shin as parallel to the top of the mat as possible without forcing anything or creating a tweaking sensation. And then once again, take a moment to square yourself off. If you need to pad underneath the left sit bone, please do. Pat the puppy and then come on down to your variation of pigeon. Again, we'll spend a couple of breaths here. I'm in a good one because I've got a hug going on here. Close your eyes and tap into what you're feeling on this side. Certainly it will be different, but it may be equally as intense. So again, find your breath and let your breath ease you into it. Hip opening takes time, takes focus, takes attention, and takes patience. So try to find some magic cocktail of all of those things and be present with this side. There's nothing better though. It's some of the deepest work we do in yoga, but it's also the most rewarding. We really get to unpack some stuff when we go deep into our hip openings. Relax your head and neck and shoulders. Relax your jaw if you haven't already. And create a nice steady breath. A rhythm that helps you to melt a little bit more into the pose. Take another breath. A long, slow exhale out. and then beginning to take ourselves out of the pose. Slowly bring the hands in. Lift yourself up. Lean off onto that left sit bone. And we'll go ahead and send the right leg across and over, planting the foot to the outside of the left thigh. Lower both sit bones evenly onto the floor. Right hand comes back behind you as a little kickstand to keep the spine nice and tall. Left arm up, option to hug the shin or to bring the elbow to the outside of the knee. Breathe in to find length in your spine, get tall. And as you exhale, we're going to turn. Twisting by pressing elbow into the knee or giving a good hug, drawing that knee towards your right arm or left armpit. Whatever variation you're in, keep your chin parallel to the floor, throat nice and open. Breathe into that beautiful twist. Oh, maybe you can feel it from the tailbone all the way up and into the neck. One more breath. And then exhale to unwind. Beautiful. All right, let's straighten out the legs and come to lie down on our mats. And we'll bring our legs into tabletop. Cross the right over the left. Try to find eagle legs here. So maybe take a wrap. It could be one wrap or two if you can tuck the toes under. Spread your arms out nice and wide and scoot your hips a little to the right. Once you've done that, then allow the knees to drop off to the left and your left hand can find your legs to give a little gentle press to them to draw them a little bit more towards the floor. Let your right shoulder relax into the floor and maybe turn your gaze to the right as well. Nice deep twist, a wringing out. You could feel this maybe even in your glutes. From the glutes all the way up through the spine. Breathing in and breathing out. And then gently come back to center. Let's go ahead and unwind the legs, maybe give the legs a little flutter, and then switch sides. So find that eagle wrap of the legs, right, left over right, scooch to the left, hips move to the left, and then draw the knees down to the right. Take that right hand to stack on top of your legs, and then turn the gaze to the left. As you release that left shoulder, the back of the shoulder to the floor. Relax your jaw. Maybe you get a little adjustment in the spine. Try to lengthen from your left hip to your left shoulder. Let it be yummy. Good. Slowly bring yourself back to center. And then for our closing pose, you can grab a block if you'd like it. We're just going to come into a waterfall pose for a few rounds of breath. So placing the block underneath you if you'd like to take this variation, or you can just do it on the mat and bringing the legs straight up, soles of the feet to the ceiling. Arms can be out to a T or alongside of you. And we're just going to let the legs go kind of soft, right? You don't want to feel like you're holding your legs up. Just let them be if they're in space. Take a few breaths here as you let the energy in the legs start to draw down. This is a great release, especially at the end of the day. It's a really nice prep to do before you go to bed because it really relaxes the body. You're reversing the blood flow here, so your heart is happy. And you can feel the lightness that you're creating in the lower half of your body. Inverted like this, taking all the weight off of the legs, off of the feet. Closing your eyes and just enjoying the sensation that this creates. Really doing nothing here. Gravity is working to draw all the energy and the blood flow down. We're simply resting on the block, grounding through the back and the shoulders, light in the legs. Take as much time in this pose as you would like. Give yourself permission to really enjoy it. You know your body is. Good. And then to close, we'll go ahead and bend the knees, bringing the feet to the floor. Lift up if you are on the block and extend the legs out for Shavasana. Just taking a few breaths here in traditional Shavasana. This might be the only traditional part of the class. Everything else is a little different. Let your arms draw away from you. Turn your palms up. Let your feet relax and open up. Eyes are closed. Soften the body and give yourself permission to just take a few moments here, letting your body weight get nice and heavy, releasing all the cares and the worries that you may have that you're carrying around with you just for a few moments. Let go of that and just appreciate how good you've been to yourself today to be in class. Show your body some self-care, to do what you could and to show up. That's awesome. Celebrate that. Bring a little smile to your face. And then as you're ready, just bring your arms overhead. Take a nice deep stretch. Lengthen out from hands to feet. Draw your knees into your chest and just hold here for a breath or two. As the knees draw in, pull your tailbone to the floor. Feel a little bit of traction. Lengthen the spine. And a little roll from side to side, just rocking and releasing. And then either rolling off to one side or rocking yourself up to come up to your seated position. Let's gather the hands together in front of the heart as we close the eyes. Always an honor to guide you. Thank you so much for being here and for showing up for yourself and this practice. Bring your thumbs to your third eye center and let's bow to one another as we honor the light within us all. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this creative flow. I hope your body feels warm and open, and I hope to bring more videos like this. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope to see you again. Namaste, yogis.